Top 10 Ways Rich People Save Money in 2020. Hi, welcome back to Think Rich Media. We got a great package for you today, but before we continue, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications for more fantastic videos from us. Our focus today is how rich people save their money in 2020. It isn't sufficient to just get rich. You also need to know how to manage that money in order not to become broke in the future. There are several things rich people do in order to save money. It might shock you to know that poor people spend a lot of money on food, shopping, and on temporal things which have little or no use more than the rich do. There is no one of us who doesn't like money. If you wonder how the rich and successful people have much of it, just watch the video to the end. We have shortlisted a list of hacks you can apply to your daily life in order to save up as much money as possible. Number 1. Investing. Isn't it amazing to know you can make more money from what you already have? Wages alone hasn't made anyone rich. You can watch the lives of several billionaires like Steve Jobs and Warren Buffett. They had a job and 2 or more side hustles. There are several businesses and projects you can invest in and reap benefits in a few months. Now you can use your little salary you earn monthly to make millions for you. It just depends on your visions and what you want for yourself. Rather than keeping that money in the confines of banks and microfinances, take it, invest it in a business, and watch it multiply over the months. This entails embracing every single opportunity that comes your way, but investing only in the ones which are legit. Number 2. Pay using cash. Paying for your goods and services using cash is one of the best ways to save money. Spending cash is harder than spending money using a credit card. Human beings can manage physical money more than virtual money. A practical example is buying subscriptions for a data bundle using virtual money. Once the data bundle is exhausted, you think of buying another subscription. This happens again and again, but when paying for subscription using physical cash, you will think of managing it and thus will end up spending it with caution. It is thus very important to pay for goods and services using cash. Number 3. Always bargain. Rich people aren't ashamed of bargaining where it matters. They don't spend their money carelessly. Whatever you're purchasing, be it a good, service, a house or car, never be ashamed or afraid to bargain, because you can knock off at least 10 to 30% from the price of the product by simply asking. So bargaining is a skill you have to acquire if you want to save your money and become rich. Number 4. Avoid debt. Be sure to avoid debt at all costs. Stop living beyond your means and stop settling for things above what you can earn until you have more than enough to afford luxuries. You have to ensure that the interest you make from business is working for you and not against you. Imagine having to pay off debt every month from the interest you make. You are nowhere close to becoming rich. Try to pay off all your debt as soon as possible and you'll definitely save as much money, more than you can imagine. Number 5. Don't spend money on unnecessary things just to impress people. This is number 1 reason for the saying, the rich will always become rich and the poor will even become poorer. If you are an average earner, stop trying to live above your means. Stop buying stuff you can't maintain because you want to impress people or belong to a certain club or group. Don't buy a house you can't foot the bills for. Don't buy a car you can't fuel. Don't buy the most expensive dress or shoe at a shop just to impress people who have little or no regard for you. Most of these people won't be there for you when you go broke. Try to quit the expensive lifestyle and go for what you can afford. I bet you will save up much money than you ever imagined. Take a look at Steve Jobs, for example. When he was alive, you will barely see him put on the most expensive of dresses. Rich people don't spend their money on things which have a temporal use to them. Be wise and use your money properly. Number 6. Budgeting. When you work according to your budget, you save up more. Have you ever had 500,000 francs and the next minute it's all gone? You might not even know what you spent it on. It is very important to know where your money goes. This is why you need a budget to keep yourself accountable for every dime you spend. There are mobile apps you can download to help you stick to your budget and keep track of your transactions you make each day. Before investing in a project, have a budget. Before hosting a party, have a budget. Before going for shopping, have a budget. This is what will close the gap between your current situation and you getting rich. Number 7. Don't waste anything. Because you have a particular commodity in excess doesn't mean you should waste it. A lot of rich people manage money by using things to the fullest. Be it your toothpaste, use it till it's finished. If you have excess food, keep some in the refrigerator rather than throwing it away. Ensure you can buy only things you need and never throw anything away until you have used it to your fullest. Number 8. Buy daily products in bulk. If you are a regular buyer at a grocery or fashion shop, you will notice that buying goods in bulk is much cheaper than buying a single item. Basic needs like soap, shampoo, food, drinks, perfumes, lotions are pretty expensive, but if you buy this stuff in bulk, you will save up a lot. You now understand why wholesale prices always differ from retail prices. Number 9. Eat out less, cook at home. How much do you spend on feeding monthly? How many times do you go out to have lunch or dinner? Depending on the city you reside in, the average person spends 2,000 to 5,000 francs each day for food. Imagine going to restaurants for lunch or supper and having to spend about 3,000 to 10,000 francs daily. Meanwhile, you can spend 3,000 francs and cook a big pot of food at home and consume for 2 days and even have leftovers at the end. You can save on groceries too. Instead of going to the most expensive restaurants or ordering food online, there are a lot of stores where you can get foodstuffs at affordable prices. Plan your meals and allocate a shopping budget to eat. This will save you hundreds of thousands and make you live a healthier and happier life. Number 10. Own fewer things. People often think rich people possess many properties, but to a little extent that's false. They don't own a lot of useless things, rather they own fewer things which are of use to them. For example, instead of a rich person to buy 5 Ferraris and 6 Lamborghinis, they prefer to buy an SUV for daily use because of all protection and extra advantages that come with it, and maybe a sports car for the weekend. Buying one good phone is better than having a Samsung phone, a tablet, an iPad and a laptop. Try to cut off these extra expenses and go for what is necessary at a given time. This is one of the ways rich people save their money. There are indeed many ways to save money, and it is very important to start from today. Right from settling your debts, getting a side hustle, and cutting off unnecessary expenditure to investing, all these are necessary. The most important is investing. The more you invest, the more you save. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share this video to people out there looking for ways to save their money. Hope you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more exciting videos from Think Rich Media.